Hey guys, this is Bridget from the DeVay Homestead. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to do a spiral beanie on the 36 loom, and I'm going to show you two different ways. As you can see on this one, we did a knit 3, purl 2, and on this one we did a knit 2, purl 3. And I'll explain to you in a second what that means, but just changing up the pattern of our stitches, we can get a smaller ridge like on this one and more space in between, or a thicker ridge with less space in between. So it's just a matter of preference on which one you like. So in the video today, we're going to be doing this one, but I'm also going to explain how you can change it up. So let's talk about how to do a spiral beanie or slouchy hat if you make it long. So right here I have a 36 peg loom. In order to do a spiral beanie, you are going to make a row of stitches, and then when you are making the next row, it's going to be offset by one peg, either one peg before or one peg behind. So if I start looming here and I go all around in my pattern, I want to end here so that when I start my second row, I start on this peg. So I've shifted the whole design to the right or the left by one. So if I have a 36 peg loom, in order to do that, I need to get one less than 36, which would be 35, or one more than 36, which would be 37. So 35 is going to work for us because that is divisible by 5 or by 7. So the way you can do that is making stitches of 2 knit and 2 purl, which equal a set of 5 stitches. So if I do 2 knit and then 3 purl, or 3 knit and 2 purl, all the way around, I'm going to get to 35 stitches. So I would do 2 knit, 3 purl, 2 knit, 3 purl, 2 knit, 3 purl, and I would continue that pattern all the way around, and I would end on this peg. And I'll show you that in the video as I'm working my pattern. So then when I start my second row, I'm going to start here as my first peg, and so if I'm starting here with my thumb the second row and I go around 35, I would end here and I would have this peg left over. So then when I start at my third row, I would start on this one. So each time I'm just shifting the design over a little bit. So I haven't done a 1 and 4. I've only done the 2 and 3 or the 3 and 2. So this pattern, like I said, is the 5 stitches is 3 knit and 2 purl. So this is kind of hard to see because of the way the stitches are going. But if I looked right here, I have 3 stitches across and then 2 purl. 3 knit across, 2 purl. But each row, the next time I go around, is moved over one, so that's what's going to create the spiral effect. Okay, so this pattern of using 5 will also work on a 41 loom because you would want to end at 40. So you would use that pattern of 5 around 8 times instead of 7 times, and you would have that leftover peg. So it's a really simple pattern when you get going, and if you follow me along with how I make it, it'll make a lot of sense. But again, so this is the pattern where I did 3 knit, 2 purl, so you have less of this ridge, and then on this hat I did 2 knit, 3 purl. So it's going to give you a lot bigger of a ridge here. So let's get started making the hat. To start the rib stitch for our hat, we're going to start with a slip knot. We're going to take our yarn, fold it over. Then we're going to take another loop, bring it behind and through this loop, and pull. We're going to place this on our anchor peg. For our cast on, we're going to do the double Ewrap method. So we're going to wrap each peg twice with an Ewrap and then knit off. Double Ewrap, knit off. So finish your cast on and meet me back here. Once your cast on is complete, now you're ready to start the rib stitch. The rib stitch is accomplished by doing, we're using Ewrap for all our knits on this. So we're going to Ewrap knit one peg, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to Ewrap the peg for my knit, but I'm not going to knit it off right now. I'm going to wait and come back and knit it off later. So this is my knit peg, and then I'm going to purl. And then my next Ewrap for a knit stitch, and then purl. So to do the purl stitch, you're going to take your hook and come underneath the hoop on the peg. You're going to grab up the working yarn and pull it through. Then you're going to take the whole loop off and put the new loop on and gently pull. Knit, purl. So do that all the way around and meet me back here. When you're finished that, then we're going to go around and knit off all of our pegs that have 2 loops on them. Alright, our first row is finished. Now we're going to continue that around for a total of 8 rows. So we did 1, we need 7 more rows of doing our knit 1, purl 1 all the way around. And you can go ahead now and take this off your anchor peg and push it to the back. And then begin your second row. So finish 8 total rows and meet me back here. So I'm just finishing up my 8th row of my rib stitch brim. So now we're going to start on the spiral pattern. So for this hat, we're going to do 2 knit and 3 purl. So 1, 2 knit, 3 purl. So we're going to knit 2 rows, but we're going to go ahead and leave these on the peg, and we'll come back at the end and knit them off. So knit, knit, now we're going to purl 3 pegs. Now I'm going to knit the next 2. So knit, knit, purl, purl, purl. Now I'm going to wrap for my 2 for my knit, 3 purl, and I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. 2 knit and then 3 purl. The most complicated thing in doing this pattern is just remembering to count. So sometimes if I'm watching TV or the kids come, I get a little distracted and I have to remember, oh wait, where am I at? But that's another reason why we leave on the knit stitches. That way, if I put this down and I came back, I could see, okay, I did 2 knit, 3 purl, and now I have to start with my 2 knit, 3 purl. And then of course I always keep a notebook with my pattern next to me so I know what hat I'm working on and how many rows I need to do and all that fun stuff. Okay, we're coming to the end of our first row. Okay, so we should have 1 peg left in our row after we do 2 knit and 3 purl. So that combination of those 5 stitches, so we did that around 7 times and we ended on peg 35. So peg 36 is empty. So first we're going to go around and we're going to knit off all the ones that need to be knitted, but before we do that I just want to show you real quick what this is looking like. So after I knit off these and I start my second row, I'm going to start the second row here and we're going to go around. So each time we go around we're going to leave 1 peg that we're going to start our next row. So in this round we're going to start, we end it here and we have this one open. So second round we'll start here. When we finish the second row, we're going to finish the second row here and start the third here. So each time it's going to shift us over 1 peg on our loom because we're doing each row 1 peg shy of the 36 peg loom. So let's go ahead and knit these off and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so now we're ready to start our second row. So I usually write in my little notebook that I completed 1 row or I use my clicker. You can go around however many times you want till you get your desired length. So in starting the next row, I'm going to start on this peg and I'm going to do the same pattern. Knit 2, purl 3. So as you can see, the second row started 1 peg over from where our first row started. And so let's go around and you'll see each time that it's going to move over 1 peg. Okay, so I just finished round 2 and I just wanted to show you this before I knit them off. So I just did 7 sets of the 5 2 knit 3 purl. So as you can see, I'm finishing this 2 pegs from where we started. So my second round finish, there should be 2 pegs left over from where we started. So as you can see, each round is just shifting 1 peg over. So I'm going to start my third round right here, but let's go ahead and knit these off first. And purl. And see, I started over 1 from the last round and 2 from where we started at the beginning. So we're going to continue this all around until we get the desired length we want. So do that and then meet me back here. So I've just finished round 8 and I just wanted to check in with you guys to show you where we're at. So again, I just finished row 8 and as you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pegs between where I finished row 8 and where I started. So each time I'm getting 1 peg further away from where I started. And if I wait to knit them off till I'm finished, then I can always see where I'm ending at. So keep knitting and meet me back here when you get to your desired amount of rows. So now I'm just finishing up my last row. I did 27 rows and you might have more, you might have less depending on the length of your hat. I do different lengths depending on who I'm giving the hat to, who it's for. Okay, so as you can see, I just finished my 27th row and I am here and I'm 27 pegs away from where I started with my anchor peg. You might be further away or you might be closer depending on how many rounds you did. So all we want to do now is we want to go ahead and we want to knit every peg. Well, we're going to knit 2, purl 3, knit 2, purl 3, all the way around till we get to our beginning point. And then we're going to stop here at our last peg just on whatever it falls on. So it might fall on a knit and it might fall on a peg. It just depends on, we just want to finish off the row basically because we're in the middle of a row and we need to finish it. So hopefully that made sense. So same pattern, knit 2, purl 3, all the way around till I get back to my last peg by my anchor peg where I started. And when I get to my last peg, I'm going to stop. So when I started my very first row, I started on this peg, so I'm going to end on this peg. So I'm going to just go back and knit off any that have 2 loops, and then we are done with the hat, and then we can move on to finishing. Okay, that's it. Our hat's done. So we're just going to do our normal drawstring bind off, which you can watch the videos I have for that. And then I'll show you this one compared to the other one again. If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks guys, see you later.